Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Good morning, T.D. Greene.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right, we're doing well. It's a hot one down here, but the ocean is warm, Tommy Greene.
How about that? I thought it. I'll tell you what. Last week, I know up here in Philly, it was banging up here with the heat. So my pool went from 75 to 90.
Whoa, like man, bathtub water.
Yeah.
Hey, T.D. Greene, before we talk about the actual game itself, I want your opinion, and I want your honesty, if you can. Max Kepler came out a couple days ago complaining that he was promised as a free agent when he was looking, where to sign, that he was promised that he would be an everyday player. And, of course, that hasn't panned out. And he basically, he was asked about it, and he talked about it in the media, let the listeners and the fans know about his displeasure. How do you feel about that?
Me personally, I don't like it. I don't like him voicing his things out in the media, about things like that. If he wants better playing time, he needs to play friggin' better.
Agreed. That's
my point of it. I mean, just because of whatever. Topper's got a decision to make, and if you're not playing up to say to speak the standards, whatever, somebody else he's got to give somebody else another opportunity a little bit. That's the way I look at it. I mean, that's the thing about this game. It's a revolving door a little bit, and you always got somebody trying to push you, or they're considering making a move to get somebody in there that can do it. So that pushes you to be better.
All right, but Tommy, but Tommy, you throughout the time that we've done this segment with you, you always preach patience. It's a long season, and if he's only had 45 at bats against lefties, I know he's only hit, but is that enough of a sample size to say, all right, you're not producing, and let's go another direction?
Well, me personally, it goes the same way with Marsh. And obviously the Kepler's come over from the Twins, and he's got a track record. So the way the analytics and stuff go these days, they're throwing numbers out there and giving Topper all the information they can give him about things. And he's going to try to go with the hot hand of what's going on. But me personally, I'm all about you. Everybody's complaining about doing this, doing that, the other, the center field or left fielder, like that. Until you give them the opportunity to go against left-handers and fail or succeed, you don't know really what you got going on. Everybody can improve, Just because you might have struggled a little bit before against left-handers don't mean you're finally going to make an adjustment to do things, These guys have got great talent, but you go in cycles where if you don't get the opportunity, you can go in a slump a little bit and not hit. Even the best ones do that for the most part, except for somebody like Tony Gwynn or somebody like that. That guy was a freak, so. But that's just my thing.
Tommy, Kepler's batting .209 overall, and he's only got 9 home runs. Obviously, he's underachieving. But can you look to move him? And because the Phillies need pitching. I mean, it's no secret the bullpen is our weak spot.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, to me, when you start opening your mouth and stuff like that, and it's kind of messing with the clubhouse a little bit. Hopefully somebody kind of nipped it in the bud a little bit. Schwarber, whoever the leader is there. You're asking yourself, for a ticket out, So that's just me. That's my opinion.
Okay.
You go back, you shut up and put up, and you play.
Right.
That's it. You go, let your bat do the talking, not through the media or anything like that. So there's some things that doesn't need to be said out in the public. It needs to be behind closed doors, voice his opinion to Topper, and not out in the public. That's dirty laundry a little bit.
All right.
So, I don't agree with what was done, the way he did it.
Tommy, I want to ask you a question real quick. On Friday, obviously, it was an absolute blowout by the Phillies. They take down the Braves 13-0 to the point where former Phillies position player Luke Williams came into the game later on to pitch and save the bullpen for the Braves. But Trey Turner hit his second home run of the game later on in that ball game. I think it was the 9th. And He told the media he thought about not stepping on home plate so it would count as a triple and he'd hit for the cycle. Now I got to ask you, from a former player's perspective, if somebody did that against your team and they hit a homer but they purposely didn't step on home plate or whatever the case may be to complete that cycle, how would you feel about that as the opposing team?
To me, I played the old school way. You do something like that, you're sort of showing them up,
right?
And when you show somebody up, you got to be willing to wear one. So that's. So if you do, that's fine. If he does it, but that's just saying that the old school way. Or the way you were brought up back in the day was that. Now, we can go on about this subject forever.
Right.
With social media. Look at me, but I'm glad he said. They say, I'm not a selfish player. I don't want to do that. Even though we all think about stupid things, and to me that was a stupid thought.
Right.
So.
Yeah, especially of a position player too. You don't want to get it that way, but
hey, Tommy, let me.
No.
Hey, Tommy, let me point this out from a pitcher's perspective. When you go up against the Houston Astros, the Phillies wasted 3 unbelievable efforts by our starting pitchers. Ranger Suarez went 7 2/3. He gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, and he only walked 2, and he got a loss. Wheeler goes 6 innings pitched. He gives up 1 earned run, strikeouts 8, walks 3, and a loss. And then, of course, Christopher Sanchez, he's the only one that had no decision. 6 innings, 1 earned run. The Philly starters went 0-2 with a combined ERA of 1.37. What's that do to the morale of the pitching staff?
Well, no, I don't. That's not about that. Our job as pitchers is to go out there and keep our team right there to give us a chance to win. Because one swing in the bat in games like that can win a ball game. So, what sort of shocks me a little bit. That just shows you how good the pitching was on both sides that weekend. Was the ballpark they're playing in.
Right.
The type of ballpark they're playing in, and there weren't no runs scored like that. You got to credit both sides for the ball games well played, well pitched, and like that. Sometimes it's good to see games like that, but I know, like they say, chicks dig the long ball and stuff like that. With the run. So I get about the runs and stuff, but as a pitcher, I like well pitched ball games, and you can't ask for a better job than our staff did. And the way you look at it as pitchers, our job is to keep us right there and give us a chance. And you can't gripe about it. At least back in the day, when pitchers hit, we could hit.
Right.
We can have an effect on the game, a little bit. So you can't complain about it, so.
We're talking with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, as we do each and every Sunday throughout the baseball season. Tommy, today we got Ranger Suarez 6-2 with a 2.08 ERA going against Strider, and Strider obviously is coming off the Tommy John, and he's 3-5 with a 4.07 ERA. But this is a classic pitching matchup against a division foe like the Braves.
Oh, yeah, you're facing the guy with Strider. He's got great stuff. And I think I haven't looked at, but what I heard through on TV and stuff, he's been pitching better of late. So, they're going to have, it's a tough task when anybody with that type of stuff is on. If he's on, you got to take advantage of mistakes. We can't afford to miss them all the time. You know what I mean? So we got to take advantage of the mistakes like that. And hopefully Ranger just keeps doing what he's doing. He's been outstanding. You can't ask for any better. Like I say to you all the time, Billy, leave him alone. Don't talk about it.
I love it.
Yeah, Strider in his last, 15 games, 8 starts, he's got a 4.07, so he's pitching better than he was when he first came back, but the velo's still not all the way there. He's not the Strider, we know and we've run into the past couple of years that's absolutely owned us in the regular
season. And remember, he's the one that hit Harper in the elbow right before he...
Yeah, we need him back, by the way, too. But, Tommy, we're about a month away from the MLB trade deadline. I know I've asked you a variety of questions over the past couple of weeks about, what they should do at the deadline, but we're really getting close here, and the holes, they just continue to be glaring. Obviously the bullpen, the outfield's a problem. Obviously, Justin Crawford has been rumored to be called up in the coming weeks possibly, but I'm just going to straight up ask you and be blunt about it. Do you think this team goes deep in the playoffs if Dave Dombrowski doesn't make a few big splashes at the deadline? I just don't see this bullpen holding up, and with how the offense goes cold every other week, I don't see them going far, in my opinion, if he doesn't make a few big splashes.
Well, I'm sort of in agreement with you on that. and there's some things that need to change. That need to get better the second half. And it's not saying that it can't. They go on a run. The guys figure some stuff out. We're halfway through the season. We're talking about the World Series right now. We got a long way to go. But there's some things can change. But right now, there's some things that need to happen. Either guys need to start pitching better, or they got to do something to get somebody in here to help the back end of the bullpen a little bit. We are going to get Alvarado back at some point, but he's not going to be able to go past the end of the season. But still, there's some things. I mean, whatever you do is going to cost you something to get the type of guys you want, and you got to be willing to come off some things. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. You don't have to give up something to get something, but I think there needs to be something good. And I mean, and just like we talked about a few minutes ago about when somebody starts talking to themselves about playing time out in the media and stuff, they're opening the door for themselves to walk out. I mean, to get exit, shuttled out, so that's my view on that one.
Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but with the lack of production from him, it seems similar to a Whit Merrifield situation last year, where they might just buy him out and say, it's been nice, we tried it, didn't work out, but best wishes. Also,
I mean, it could end up like that if they run into something that they can go get, and it's going to make a difference. Like that, because we talked about Marsh, what was going on early in the season with him. Look at him now. You leave him alone, okay? He's scrapping. He's got that scrapper mentality a little bit. He finds a way. I mean, he helps push other guys with his enthusiasm and his energy, and I think that's a good thing to have on the club. I mean, and he's a good ball player. So he's figuring out things too. So it's a question where they find something or something's available they can get that's not going to break the bank on them.
Right.
And that's the big thing.
Not to put salt in the wound, but just want to add one more thing. Carlos Estevez, remember him? Got him at last year's deadline from the Angels.
He's pitching outstanding, ain't he?
Yeah, 2.08 ERA, second in in all of MLB with 22 saves, right behind Robert Suarez with 23.
That's what's going to happen with Suarez. If we get rid of Suarez, I guarantee he's going to go wherever he's going to go. He's going to pitch outstanding for the next 5 or 6 years. If we keep him and we re-sign him, he's going to have back problems next year, I guarantee it.
Right, and then Austin Hayes over in Cincinnati, he's batting over 300. I know he's been a little hurt on the IL for a period of time, but man, he couldn't even bat 230 over here in Philly. He's batting 300 over there.
Well, I mean, it just goes to show you baseball is a weird game. Guys have got talent. They're there for a reason.
Yep.
And they put up numbers before, and you're banking on guys doing the same thing here. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way a little bit. They get on bad stretches and like that. But what you can't do, to me, is what Kepler did. Get out in the media and start flapping your gum. You can't do that. You just go out there and play and keep continually working. But that's going to have an influence on whatever happens if he gets traded or free agent during the off season of him going to another ball club. You got issues like this. He's going to flap his gums every time he's not happy. People don't want that. So I mean.
All right, Tommy. After today's game with the Braves, the Phillies' next 6 of their next 9 games are against the National League West, the Padres and the Giants, and that's going to be pretty. I mean, you got to keep your eye on that.
And the Reds are nothing to sneeze at.
Well, we got a stern test. Yeah, we got a stern test. You got some ball clubs have been playing pretty good ball, man.
Yeah,
and I mean they got that pretty good pitching in their own right. So we got to find a way to get on road and play solid baseball and take advantage of the little things when we get the opportunity to win some ball games, like that and stay above. That's all it takes is to win some of them close ones like that, them little ones where you score a runner from third with less than 2 outs, and that wins a ball game. Some of the little things, moving runners.
On a sad note, I don't know if you had a chance to play against them, but Hall of Famer Dave Parker passed away the other day.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. He was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
I got drafted in '85, and that was one of his real good years he had. And he was one of my favorite guys. I grew up, because I didn't have cable. I didn't grow up in a big city.
Right.
I saw Sunday game of the week all the time on Sundays, obviously, and I saw the Pittsburgh Pirates play a lot, the Cincinnati Reds, the Yankees.
Yeah.
It was the big team. So I got to see the Cobra play a lot, and he was one of my favorite guys, him and Pops.
We are family. I'll never forget that, the Pirates. All right, Tommy Greene, as always, we appreciate you and love hearing from you every Sunday on the Mound with Tommy Greene. Thanks, Tommy. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, Billy. You got it, pal.
There he
See
is.
you,
Every
Tommy.
Sunday we go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, sponsored by Blitz's Market in Ocean City, located at 21st and Asbury Avenue. Try their famous breakfast sandwiches, hoagies, gourmet burgers, and vegetarian options. Online ordering is available at blitzesmarkets.com or give them a call at 609-399-9983. Start your day off with Blitz's freshly squeezed orange juice. Mention the locker room. Get $1 off their 12 ounces of liquid sunshine. And when you do that, you get a free 97.3 ESPN locker room cup.